Hola, amiga. Welcome to the Latina Leadership Podcast, a podcast by Latinas for all women. Get ready because today's conversation is really special. Hola, amigas. Welcome to the new episode of the Latina Leadership Podcast. I'm your co-host, Andrea Diaz, and I'm here with our beautiful guest. Would you like to introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. So, hi, folks. I'm Jessa McKinnis, owner and principal consultant of Jessa McKinnis Consulting. I am a team specialist, essentially. I help teams be more effective using lean methodologies and a strengths-based mindset. I'm also a certified Gallup-Clifton Strengths coach and a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. I've about 15 years of leadership experience across retail management and higher education administration. And this is new, but in the fall, I'm going to be starting my MBA experience with the TCU Mealy School of Business.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I was looking at a little bit of your backstory, and I noticed you're the first to graduate from your family. Like that was also me too.
Yes, ma'am.
So being the first to graduate and like earn a master's degree, like can you share what that journey was like and what kept you going?
Sure. So I was born in a small town. I say it's not so small now. It's a well-known town here in Texas, but I was able to. My mother took me to Austin when I was younger, and I went into a school district that this question was never if you're going to go to college. It was what college, not if you're going, where are you going, not even when you're going, because the assumption was you're going to go right after high school. Like you're just going to go right into it.
Yeah.
I chose to go to Texas State University, eat 'em up cats. And I just knew that I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to do something. And I got into communication studies because of a professor who loved it. And I know that I enjoy learning from people who love what they're doing. So when you're passionate about something, you're like, oh, that's interesting and intriguing. So that's why I got into comm studies. And honestly made it through with mentors. Being first gen, that meant that there weren't any guides. I landed a job in the honors college in their coffee forum where I was able to help other people navigate how to do things so that I had to learn how to do those things. So I was able to answer their questions because I was like, oh, well, I have this like quote unquote inside scoop because I was working as a work study student for them and did that. Then I got my master's at the University of North Texas. And that one was harder. That one was definitely harder because like I say this all the time to the folks that I interact with now is that when you're first gen, you're always first gen. And so I was having issues with classes or with work or something that my parents just didn't get. They didn't understand it. They always told me, oh, well, you gotta, either suck it up because you don't want your boss man to, this is my father, you don't want your boss man to know. I was like, Daddy, I don't have a boss man. I've got a supervisor. So even like the terminology was different. And so, yeah, so they supported me. They were like, I get it, but I don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. So I had to break it down. And also the first manager in my direct line of people, like a people manager. So I am the boss. And they're like, yeah, I don't know what that means. So other people who are now getting the opportunity to be a supervisor, they're like, hey, what do you do in this situation? I was like, oh, well, you blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yeah, we don't have any, like, we don't talk about this at the dinner table. We never talked about this. It was always, oh, my supervisor is really rough or, something negative about it, but not being the supervisor because that was never something they were offered.
Yeah. No, and I love that you bring out that point too. Like it's like not many of us or like, not many of our parents were put in that position where they were the supervisors. So like, yeah. And like just hearing your perspective too, because now you're in that position, you're like, oh, well, this is completely different than what I expected.
So different. It's so different. And then it's the different mindset that you have to be in, the different framework, the viewpoint that you have to look at everything in. So a sister will come talk to me and like, hey, my supervisor did this. And I was like, well, that stinks. I'm really sorry. I may have said other words, to agree and affirm what they're feeling, because it's very real feelings, but also like, did you think about this perspective? Or maybe they're getting something from their district manager that you didn't think about, or you don't know about. You don't know what else they had to deal with. Similar to how we deal with customers you may have to answer a question in a customer service job 10 times because the person that you're answering the question for right now doesn't know that you answered that question 10 times before. That kind of goes along with supervisors. Sometimes they don't know, meaning as a employee, I
Mhm.
don't know what my supervisor's expectations are for them unless they're transparent with me. I don't know what's happening with them. So I try to do that for my folks and I give that to other leaders. Like that's why I wanted to start this business was because we aren't in management as much. We don't have people above us to show us, oh, what do you do? How do you get there? And then how do you be authentic to yourself? How do you also understand that we are familially based? Like la familia, that's how we're raised.
Mhm.
So how do we balance that? How do I tell my parents, no, I'm not going to answer it the same way you are. No, I'm not going to go home when it gets hard. No, I can't. I love you so much, but I can't go back because that's what they know. And that's how they can protect you.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, that's how I got through it. That's where I started what I do with Jessa McKinnis Consulting because there wasn't a Latina manager that I could just look up to when I
Yeah.
was going through everything.
Yeah. Have you felt that your identity as a first generation college student shaped the way you lead and coach others?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I certainly am able to connect more with those who are like me. So those who are also first gen, um, male or female, that doesn't matter. But definitely first gen. It's in the like, hey, does your family think this? They're like, yeah. So how do I deal with that? And I was like, setting boundaries is hard, but let's walk through it. So we shift from how do I deal with my subordinates to like, okay, but let's talk about where you're coming from and like, what do
Mhm.
you have as an influence? Oh, it's because these are the like familial obligations or thoughts that they're having of you're now that you're a manager, you're too good for us. Or you think you're better than. It's like, no, I just have more information. I just have different information. It's not that it's better or worse, it's just different. Um, being the first generation person to be there, I'm also the person who asks more questions when things come up. So if anything medically comes up or anything with um, wills, estates, anything that has to do with paperwork.
Mhm.
Hey, can you read this? Yes, I can read it. I I don't have the experience of having to translate many things for my parents. That was not my struggle growing up, but I did have to ask them to interpret legalese. I'm not a lawyer, but if my father's disabled,
Mhm.
he has a lot of doctor's appointments, and there's a lot of big words
Yeah.
in all the stuff, and they're very formal. I was like, I know that you know what I'm saying to you, but I have to say it in a way that you understand. That's not doctor speak.
Yeah.
That's not um, just lots of syllables put together, lots of letters like that. So it's definitely something that's not just for me. It is something that my family also utilizes and gains something from. Like it's every graduation I've had, every certificate, every accomplishment academically that I've had has been me and my parents, my siblings, my cousins, my friends, their friends. I get calls from my siblings like, "Hey, can you walk us through how to do this? I have a friend who has a question, and I don't know who else to ask." Um, it's so this accomplishment isn't just for me. These accomplishments are for the culture. They're for everybody. They're for us.
I love that, and like I love like hearing you talk about your family because it really sometimes it does really affect you, like even like your mindset too. Like how you've grown up kind of makes you like how you decide to work your job or even lead. Like it affects you, and you sometimes you don't realize it because it just is an unconscious thing that you do, but like it does like affect you. So I love that
Absolutely.
that you went into that. So when you launched Jessa McKinnis Consulting, what was the biggest challenge in making that big step?
Oh, thinking that I could do it. Thinking that someone would want to hear from me. So like it's just the courage to do it. Physically, don't know if anyone here in your audience has started a business, but to do a sole prop in Texas, sole proprietorship, sorry for using an acronym on that one. Um, it's not that hard. It doesn't cost much in terms of like signing up with the government. It's just basically saying I need an EIN from the tax, IRS to that it's separate from my like social security number because it's just me.
Mhm.
Um, So that part wasn't hard. The physical logistics of that part was not hard. It was do people want to hear this? This was me before. Do they
Yeah.
actually want to hear me? Do people like do this? Do they think that I'm valuable? Like there was a lot of that. It was a lot of, and there's still that. That's not to, it hasn't gone away. There's still very much like, oh, do people want to hear, oh my God, you want to hear me? Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. Um, and also people being very excited at first. They're like, oh, good for you. That's amazing. Um, and then also asking sometimes in a positive way, like, how's your business? Like truly wanting to hear, and it's usually
Mhm.
from friends, versus the like, so how's that little business going? You doing okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's good, or yeah, it's been okay, or so I try to downplay it with the family,
Yeah.
because it's hard, my interpretation. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to be um happy for someone when you know where they've come from
Hmm.
and you feel like it's the same as yours. And they're like, why are you doing so much? Why are you doing another thing? What are you doing here? Yeah, that was probably the hardest part, was just starting, like having the courage to start.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes we're our own worst enemies
Oh my
when it comes
goodness,
to
girl.
that.
Yes.
Um,
Totally.
yeah, and like, and I love you bring up to that point. Sometimes even like in our own culture, it's really hard for us to even like try to be successful because sometimes ambition is like looked down upon. Like you're doing too much. You should be comfortable. You shouldn't try to do even more.
Mhm.
And like for our audience, like how do you fight that? Like how do you fight that feeling or like that need of like to downplay everything?
Friend of mine told me, another mentor, another business owner, who's also there, also struggles with things. They said, you're not selling online, especially online, like Instagram stuff. You're not selling online for your friends.
Yeah.
You're more likely to make friends of your clients than you are clients of your friends. It's where you don't need, they know you. Your friends, they know you. They know who you are, and they're going to have their opinions and whatever you're doing. But if you are trying to figure out, my aunt's going to think this is cringe and I'm going to have to hear her later, or my mom's going to call me, so block her. You have a separate business account. Suggested that you get a separate business account for your Instagram, so that, cool, you're posting there. That is what you put out to the world. Guess what? Other people are going to find you that don't know you, that
Yeah.
only know you through this. And this is the place where you get to make it whatever you want.
Mhm.
You get to post however you want. You get to showcase and be there, and you're trying to find new people, not the people that you already have in your life. Don't get me wrong. Having friends and family is solid, and that's absolutely what we're here for. That's again how we're raised, with the people that are there. But your business, no one will be more proud of your business than you,
Mhm.
one. And two, you're trying to meet new people, not win over the people who are already in your life. So don't play it down. I know time and place for things, potentially, but own what you have built,
Yeah.
because no one else is going to own it for you. No one else is going to be your loudest cheerleader, your loudest marketer, your loudest anything but you. You are the person who's going to be the one to love your business the most.
I love that. I love that because I feel like a lot of people need to hear that. Like, because sometimes we get on our own mindset, we worry too much about what other people think. When it's like we gotta be for us, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No one's going to cheer you on publicly and out loud more than you.
Yeah,
You might get lucky to get one cheerleader in there, but no one's going to really like understand how much it takes out of you than you.
yeah, yeah. And I saw you offer a wide range of coaching services, like you in career and leadership development to interview prep, like which is a lot. And like, what's the most common theme or need you see among clients?
So, so there's three client areas that I really focus on, and that's women in general. So, corporate, people who are in corporate who are just trying to scale the ladder, figuring out, okay, what else can I offer? What are other things I can do? There's small businesses, so that's focusing on folks who are started. They've scaled up maybe to like having one or two subordinates, and that talks a lot about how do you manage in an ethical way, but also as like a logistical way sometimes.
Mhm.
And then recent college grads, because they're like, what do I do? And like first generation grads, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I talk to people? What does this look like? How do I navigate those things? So it's really all of them, which is why they're all on there. So they've done all of those things for different folks. It really just depends on what it is that they are looking for. And if they don't even know what they're looking for, they're like, I just know I need something different. Okay, let's talk. Usually, and all of those, we start with their strengths. That's definitely what I use as the biggest assessment tool to help navigate. I fully believe that to give your best, you have to know yourself very well.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other assessments out there, but I have found that the Gallup Clifton Strengths one is the one that's going to give me the most tangible, like individualized assessment to be able to speak about what happens. There are others, and keep going with them. Absolutely. That's just the one that I use because I find it to be most helpful for me when talking to other folks and talking to, if I get to do a team, which is really, really fun when I get to do a whole team, I can talk to the manager and say, okay, here are your folks. You've got, I'm going to use made up names. You've got John over here who's super analytical and he thinks a lot. You got to give him time.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're having trouble with any of these folks, they're like, man, John doesn't talk that much. He's like, yeah, because he's thinking. Because that's what your strengths are. Is he's thinking and he's going to give you a plan. You have to, give him specific questions. Let's work on this. Here's the plan. And then I'm like, hey, John, maybe you fill people in on what you're thinking a little bit more often to help that communication. Because though I know you're thinking of all the solutions to the problems that we have, and you're like, no, I don't want to be a team player, we're going to have to talk a little bit more. Opposite side, you've got Sarah, who's going to be your doer all the time. Let's go forward, make it happen. But doesn't always doesn't always give the opinions. Just like, okay, cool, thanks. I'll take the project. Cool, thanks. Okay, I take the project. Girl, you better say no. Let's learn how to have some breaks there. So then I get to talk to the manager and I have to say, hey, how about we balance these folks out? Or the manager is the super analytical one, or only about relationship building. Like there's different aspects of each person, and you can make a rounded team, but being able to understand your folks it helps. So you know yourself, that you can talk about yourself in a way that's like, hey, this is what I do, this is how I work, this is what I need. As a supervisor, oh, okay, this is what my team needs. Well, this is also what I need. Like, I need you to tell me when you're having a rough time because I'm not going to see it. So I'll work on it. I want to get to know you, but I'm just not going to know.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a manager, I'm probably going to know. I'm not going to know what to do because I'm like, you got to tell me how you handle this best. But it sounds like you're not having a great time. Do you need time off? I also need that thing that you said you were going to have to me by 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whichever you said you were going to turn it in. So in terms of what they are most often asking for, it's a little bit of everything. Mostly it's one person coming in and saying, hey, can I do this for myself? I'm like, oh man, everybody else on my team needs this. I'm like, great, bring me in for your whole team. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's do the whole team. Let's make it happen. Because one person, fantastic. They're like focusing on their development. And then they realize, oh, my team needs this. Oh, I should probably get like my supervisor involved and this happening. I had a client one time who pulled in an HR member who like is over their team, but also over multiple teams. They're like, hey, you should see this. Do we need this to come in for other people? Do more teams need to get on board to help create a culture of strength so that we start looking at it in a positive view versus a deficit mindset where we're always working on the weaknesses? Like, okay, you can do that. And you won't fail, and your team won't fail, and your company will, or you can start talking about what people are good at. And then working from there, letting them harvest their own strengths so that they can be the best that they can be as well.
Hola, amigas. So quick before we keep going, I'm literally sitting right outside the Georgia Brown Convention Center where the 2025 Latina Entrepreneurship Conference is happening right here on September 20th. So yes, mark that down. This is built by Latinas, made for all women, and it's going to be full of heart, ambition, and real talk. You can expect powerful panels that inspire, hands-on workshops that empower, and unforgettable charla sessions where you can truly connect, share your journey, and grow alongside other mujeres who understand what it means to chase big dreams. So grab your comadres, get your tickets, and come to a space that's made for you. Now let's keep going with that episode.
No, that's great. And I love hearing how you describe like the team aspect of it, because I feel like a lot of people would get like it would really help, especially their work environment, especially, if either they're in the like, management position, or even just like as someone who's working under management. Like I feel it'd be able to like better figure out like who I am as a person, and then also like how if you're in management position and then you're looking at like everybody under you, like you'll be able to better read like, okay, this is that type of person, and this is how I need to be proactive, and like I know their strengths, I know their weaknesses, and just working with that to be able to better provide. Yeah, like I love that. And I feel like even like if you do a visual, I feel like it would lead you to wanting to do like a team one.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Does,
that's
does that happen often? Like someone comes by themselves and then they're like, oh, like this would be nice as a group.
it does. That's generally yes. I've got, one-on-one clients that are just here individually. But there's a good chunk of them who come in and say, I want this. We go through a whole session. I keep up with them. How are you doing? How are things? And then like, can you talk to my boss? Can you do this? Can you can like they set up a time? I'm like, yeah, sure. Take a consultation. Let's take an intake call. Make it easy. Simply because they see the benefit and they're trying to sell it to their supervisor.
Mm.
Oh, and it just takes a little bit more effort to be there. And even if they don't, I've had a couple of folks who are like, hey, we don't have the budget for it. Okay, no problem. But they still give my information out to the coworkers, and the coworkers like, hey, can I just do this personally? And I'm like, yeah, whatever you want to do, however you want to pay for it. If there's a professional development fund that you're able to use or utilize, go for it. And then we can ask, how do you work with this person? Not even like manager to supervisee, peer to peer. How do I work with this person? I'm struggling with how they work. And then we go through multiple exercises individually. And if I happen to have both and I have permission from both parties to share their strengths and talk about the other person to really help them navigate, gotta have permission to do that first. I'm like, hey, did you know, using John and Sarah as my examples, did you know that John like needs space to think? Did you know that Sarah needs to talk to people? John, like, did you know this about the other person? Did you clock that? No, you didn't clock it. Okay, well, let's talk about it. I'm seeing this person has these strengths and you have these strengths. Let's talk how you get to make those work together. No, it takes work, it takes effort, but it does give you a little bit of insight into how they think, how they process emotions, how they process thoughts, how they like tick to help manage the co-working relationship even more.
Yeah, and like I feel like even perspectively, like you're learning about like someone who like probably like is like the complete opposite of you too. So you're better able to also like see those traits in other people and be able to better determine like, oh, this is probably I gotta work this certain way with this person because they seem to have that type of trait as well. So
Absolutely.
like it all it all lines up.
It does. It does. It's all connected. Everyone so Gallup does not recommend and actually highly discourages hiring based on strengths. But once you're in, it's like, all right, how do you utilize like they meet your minimum requirements to be there. So okay, you can do the job. Got it. Now we gotta figure out how to work together because you're stuck in an office. We're traveling together. What if you're a consultant and you have to travel with a team? Well, how do people travel? How does that look like? If I didn't know how to talk about those things that I needed, which could make or break this relationship or this working relationship, it would be more difficult. Why make it more difficult?
Yeah. Could you share us, since we were talking about it, could you share us a story of someone who you've coached who's experienced like a major transformation?
Sure. So this was I'm trying not to use names for them. This was a gentleman named Robert. He works in the lab and he was really great with customers, super great with customers. Could sell whatever they needed, could reach their clientele, wonderful salesperson. But their supervisor was like, I need you to work independently. Like you're draining resources in other ways because you're constantly needing support. Constantly needing attention. Had a lot of questions, had a lot of things. Coworkers somebody who was doing the exact same job. I'm gonna call her Susan. Susan needed. She was a contractor. She was just there 3 days a week. She's like, I'm in. I do my work. I'm done. I don't have time for coffee talk. I don't have time for that water cooler chat. I don't have time to what she felt like handhold this person this man who'd been doing this job for years. She's like, why do I have to keep why? What is going on? Like she could not understand what's happening. So we did a whole session. And it turns out that Robert truly did just need to talk to somebody. A really high relationship building, super smart. And I was like, yeah, it was like, it made sense to me. I was like, you just said he's really great with customers, which means he's good at building relationships with them. So what is it that's different between this lab setting and this other setting that he's excelling in? And so that's when they explained to me, it was like, oh, Susan, the contractor, was only there to do the 8 hours of work. And that's it. I was like, oh, so you're not talking, you're not chit-chatting, you're not connecting. That relationship building is not just what you're good at, it's what you need. You need people to talk to and to connect with. So it's not just like, yeah. It's actually connection, building that understanding, that friendship. She's like, no, I don't have time. I was like, okay, but he needs it. Like, to do his best work, he needs somebody to connect to. And the supervisor even said, oh, we don't have that ability. And I was like, okay. So he understood it. He got it. He's like, okay, I need to not do this because it's hindering someone else's ability to do their job. It's like, but maybe you ask for, like, you set up a set 10-minute time with your supervisor every morning, as long as you're okay with it, to just catch up, talk about the project you're doing today, do this. Is that something I talked to supervisor as well? And I was like, could you set up time with this person and time it and say, I only have 10 minutes. Let's talk for 10 minutes. So that still gives your subordinate Robert the connection that they're looking for. It creates a timed boundary to help Robert understand, hey, 10 minutes. That's as much as I can give. So it's helping them also connect with their boundaries and figure out what's happening. And it gives the supervisor only 10 minutes. So it's like, okay, I can take 10 minutes to you. You need this, my person. I take care of you. I'm supposed to support you, to help you do your best work. You get 10 minutes of my time, and then I can go back and do what I need to do. Same thing with the contractor. I was like, can you set 10 minutes, 5 minutes when you're walking to get your coffee? Just stop in and say, hey, Robert, you doing good? You got everything? If it's Monday, how was your weekend? Right? That's a built-in easy question to connect with somebody. And time it. 5 minutes. Cool. Thanks so much, Robert. Have a great one. I'll see you later. Go off to do your thing. And then it doesn't feel like you're ignoring him, so he doesn't get frustrated with you that you don't like him because he's taking it personally, even if it's not personal. So that was good. They got a lot more insight and understanding as to what was happening, what they needed to do, and how they needed to operate as a team. So they readjusted how they operated as a team to help everybody do their best. Because it wasn't, oh, if you just got rid of Robert, fine. They all said, no, he's our best person in this role. He's doing great. He knows his role. He's been doing this for like 30 years. And I'm like, we don't want him to leave, but we want him to change. I'm like, yes, a little bit of changing, and maybe a little bit of changing on your end to understand what it is that he needs and how can you give that to him? You don't have to be next to him 24/7. You don't have to like set up your little shop right next to where he's working, so you're constantly talking, but you got to give him something. You got to feed it somehow. And then for Robert, I was like, hey, where do you take your lunch? Like, where do you go? He's like, oh, I just stay in my office. I was like, my God, it's seeming like you're telling me that you need to connect with people and you're not taking the opportunities to connect with people. So let's talk about, where can I connect with people? Where can I go eat food instead? Is there a cafeteria here? Do you have friends outside of this one little lab? that you could go and like eat lunch with. Again, connection. That's what he was missing in the newest setup that they had for the office. I will say there was some rearranging of the office structure that kind of made this issue come to light. It wasn't there before. I was like, okay, so his environment changed. Got it. And so here's why. So how can we help that environment change back almost? Like, how can we mimic that without changing, the full office structure? Because that wasn't going to be at all effective or able to happen for business.
Yeah, no, and I feel like I'm glad that you mentioned like it's like it has to be something from both parts, not just one. Because I feel like sometimes a lot of times you just sometimes it just you want it to be on one person, but it doesn't go like that. It's both ways.
Usually, yeah, usually. And I talked to one of the HR ladies who was there too, and she like, what do we do? Like, if I can't fulfill this need of his to do his best work, like, what do I do? I was like, in my opinion, I'm not you. In my opinion, you may have to start looking at what are other roles he could have, or encouraging him, mentoring him to find a different job that would be able to fit how he works best. And that has to come with like, you're gonna have to have direct conversations. Then those are hard.
Yeah.
To say, because of things outside of your control, because it wasn't in the office structure and the building structure, I should say, was out of his control. And it's not like he asked for this to happen. He was still doing a great job, but the environment no longer suited his best work. It's like, so here I have to ask him, what would be best for you to do your best work with us? Does that mean you got to find a different job? Does that mean that we need to find a different office, like in the same company? What does that look like? I was like, if it doesn't get better though, with the stuff that we've implemented, the next steps are a little bit more extreme, because that's what it is. Like, you're trying this route, you're trying to be more cooperative, and you're trying to be more helpful and very understanding. But if it's not working, then it's not working. And all parties have to come to an understanding. It's like, is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to work? Do I want to work in an office where I'm a social person and I have no one to be social with? That's his perspective. Question. From supervisor is, do I want to have to supervise somebody who is like this, who's not happy, whose work is being impacted by this? And as a coworker, do I want to come here every day when this is the type of environment that I'm going to come into, with someone who's quote unquote bugging me all the time? Because very different perspectives, very different life obligations.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't just one person, and usually never is. It's usually never just one person. It's usually a collective, either environment, other people, things out of their control. It's never just one person.
Yeah, and I feel like this question kind of ties into this. What advice would you give someone who's feeling stuck in their career or unsure how to identify their strengths?
Sure. So if you're going to identify I'm going to do the second one first, and then with the first one.
Yeah.
So identifying strengths outside of, obviously, you could take the assessment. Sure. It'll help just to kind of get a little bit more. It's like, oh yeah, I do like doing that. You could also look at what are things that you do well and that you enjoy doing, that you not you lose focus in, you lose awareness of time. It's called flow, where you're like, I really get into this thing, and then, it's 10 hours have gone by, not 10 hours, 5 hours have gone by, and I'm still here. Do you like to be creative? Do you like to solve puzzles? Creativity, solving something. Do you like to arrange something? Do you like, finding just the right way to arrange something? Do you like talking to other people about their development? What do you lose track of time in? And then what do you fully excel in? Like, you're just, man, you put out great results every single time you do this thing. Whether that's thinking of ideas and you're able to come up with 70 of them like that. Real quick, I have 17 ways that you can do this, and they're all going to work. It might be expensive, but they're all going to work. Is that you? Do you have, like, I can get you 17 ways to do something? Or you're the doer. You're like, okay, cool. That's your idea. I'm going to go super fast and I'm going to do it right now. So those types of things. That's how you're going to find some of those strengths that you're going to be able to talk about. If you're feeling stuck at your job, I would take a minute to do some reflection and figure out why. What is it? Is it the environment? Is it the commute? That's a possibility. Is it the people? Is it just what you're doing? Are you getting to do your best work every day? And if the answer is no, on a consistent basis, like, oh, like, yeah, I got to do some of that really fun stuff the other day. Like, I was a great day at work and I was super productive and I had all this energy and I was in that flow state. And that only happens once every 6 months, once a month, whatever your threshold is. But otherwise, it's just, oh, this is mundane. I hate doing this. But you got to do it because it's a job. Heard. I would take a look at those things. Take a look at the days that are better and worse. Like, how many days do you have of each of those so that you're able to see, like, okay, is this just a season or is this like, it's time? It's time to pivot out. It's time to look for a new job. It's time to do this thing. I have friends who are location bound to their to the city that they're in. So when we talk, and whether it's a coaching thing or just, hey, we're just friends and we're trying to just help each other out, it's like, what are other things that you can dedicate your time to that help fill your bucket, that really help fill you inside so that you are content, that you're excited about life, and that maybe work is just work. And you know what, that's going to just fund my life. Really, that's all right. I do this, gives me insurance. Hopefully it funds my life. I'm good at it. I'm okay. I'm not miserable, right? I'm not miserable. But what else can I do? Like, do you have hobbies? Do you have other things? And so that helps for those folks. They're like, I'm stuck here because of this. I'm like, okay, so what else are you doing? What are other things that you can do to bring fulfillment to your life?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel that too. I feel like, especially right now, sometimes it's really hard to have that work-life balance, and that really hurts people. Like, especially if you're just like doing just work, and like nothing else. Like, obviously, sometimes you have to reflect. Like for me, what I do like on the side would be like photography. I love taking photos.
Beautiful.
Like, and I feel like it's so relaxing because I'm able to like enjoy the environment and like look for like different perspectives. So, and I always suggest people like find different things. Like sometimes, like for me, I just got a photography like out of nowhere. I was like, I'll pick it up. I enjoy doing it, and I did like media coverage and I'd write articles. But like they're like, hey, you should do photography, and I was like, all right. But I always suggest people like sometimes it could be as simple as like going to a new park every week, or going to a walk, or finding new music, or like making a music playlist to listen throughout the week, but yeah, it's like, and I feel that too, like it's like so easy for us to like get so focused on our careers and just like feel the burnout, and then sometimes it is like, a job is a job, and not all jobs are like fully like you're enjoying it 100% of the time,
right?
But it's also like figuring out like, is it just a job, or is it I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah, there is, for some people that line is like very rigid, very thin. You're like, I'm good or I'm not, and it's very black and white on that one. And for some folks, it's most folks, it's a plethora of things. It's so many layers to work. It's okay, do we have the income? If I did leave, what does that look like? There's so many things you have to ask, especially as you get older, you're more established, more responsibilities. That's where you got to focus on. Okay, if you can't leave, or you're trying to leave but you haven't gotten there yet, what else can you look forward to? It's that type of stuff.
Yeah, and one of our last questions, like, what is one strength you've come to appreciate about yourself, and how has it helped your career?
Oh man. Like I have all of them, but I'm thinking at the actual like things. I'm gonna list two of them. One is harmony, and I was speaking specifically on Clifton Strengths. And I'll explain harmony in a second. And then two is adaptability. That's more self-evident as being able to pivot and find solutions. but they work really well together. So harmony in the Clifton Strength world talks about being able to find the win for everybody. So it's not always we have to do it. There's no staunch, like, we have to do it this way. It's like, okay, you want to do this. I'm talking about my two people that I was, Susan and Robert. You need this and you need this. Okay, let's find solutions together to move forward, because we got to move forward. And I think that's come in really handy when talking to folks who are not able to look at those. They're saying, but it has to be this way, and we're here. And I was like, can you look at a different perspective? And then there's someone else who's like, oh, but it has to be this other direction, this other way. It's like, well, let's come together. It's that ability to come together and to help others come together that's really helped my ability to not only manage, but also be a coworker and be a good subordinate. I still have a supervisor. I still have people that I have to report to. So this way we were able to come together.
Yeah, I love that. And I always feel like adaptability is always a good like strength to have too.
Absolutely. It has helped in so many ways to just say, oh, we're okay and all right, and we're going this way. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. And this is one question Angelica Casares, so she's like the main host for the podcast.
Yeah.
She's always asked, do you consider yourself a leader? Why or why not?
Yes. I absolutely consider myself a leader, not just in lately I've been blessed with the title. That means I supervise other people. But just in life, you've got to lead, and officially that's one way, but to lead in an unofficial capacity is just your ability to talk to people, influence others, and know that people look up to you. And everyone has the ability to be a leader. In some form or fashion, I also believe that everyone has the ability to do it. It's just a matter of finding what way that is. That's a family leader. And anybody could be a family leader. We patriarchal family or matriarchal family, and whoever is your leader, if that's your leadership, cool, then that's your leadership. Or it could be at work, or it could be in your friends. And you don't have, just because you're a leader in one realm doesn't mean that someone else isn't the leader in a different area of your life.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be that person. It's okay to be a follower for a little bit.
Yeah. Where can our viewers find you?
Sure. So I'm available online, JessaMcKinnisConsulting.com, on Instagram at Jessa McKinnis Consulting. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Jessa McKinnis, or LinkedIn/Jessa McKinnis. And that's where I'll be. Most of those places are going to be there.
Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I really, really enjoyed it. And I know our viewers and our listeners are really going to enjoy this episode. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, amigas. Thank you for joining us in this amazing conversation today. If you need more information or resources, as always, they'll be in the description below. Please don't forget to follow us everywhere at Latina Leadership Podcast to stay updated with our latest releases, events, and more. We'll see you next time.